I'm back. I'm here. Let's talk about now. As the summer event draws to a close, a new event comes in to replace it, and with it comes a new character. This new character being the right-hand woman of Rasmus, Now. And like I said in my community post, I love her story and who she is meant to be so much. So to show why I love her, let me retell the story of Now, the Director of Special Projects in Clarion Corps. Now was adopted at a young age by a loving father who nurtured her talents and interests as she grew. From the time she could speak, Now displayed an outstanding intelligence and shrewd entrepreneurial streak. She would develop all matters of business ventures, usually alongside a new technology or invention she had recently thrown together. Unlike with other children her age, these weren't idle ventures or lemonade stands. Now treated them seriously and managed to make healthy profits by the time she was a teenager. Naturally, she idolized the work of Clarion Corp. She was awestruck by its ingenuity and the sheer scale of impact its technologies had on the world. She believed it to be a force for good and the pinnacle of entrepreneurial achievement. She would spend countless hours with her father, poring over every last detail of Clarion's quarterly reports or intently watching and rewatching the keynotes of the organization's scion, Rasmus, at its yearly developer conferences. Indeed, by the time Now was a teenager, she became particularly enamored with Rasmus. He was the head of Clarion Corps' R&D department, and his public addresses were always filled with bold visions for humanity's future, fueled by the harnessing of Omega energy. He spoke of journeys to distant galaxies, providing for the world's fundamental needs, and curing devastating disease. She dreamed of someday working under Rasmus and helping to further Clarion Corps' mission. This feeling was intensified when her father became seriously ill and ended up joining a test program at Clarion Corps that was aimed at remedying previously incurable ailments. But after a few weeks away, Now's father returned home a shell of his former self. Not only were his physical ailments still present, but his mind was gone as well. Now was distraught and believed there must be some mistake, some corruption at Clarion Corps that has caused this. Idealistic as ever, she resolved to discover what had happened to her father and root out the corruption at Clarion Corps. A few years later, her talents landed her a job in the company's R&D division. She still believed in the organization's mission and in Rasmus's vision for the future and worked tirelessly to develop new technologies that utilized Omega energy. In time, her work was noticed by Rasmus himself, and, in characteristically bold fashion, he made her the director of the secretive, yet prestigious, Special Projects division. Before she joined, Rasmus told her a few important things. The projects she would witness in his division were his life's work and could change the world if given proper care. But the work was not without difficulty, and she must remember that any sacrifices they would make of themselves or others would benefit the world many times over in the future. While unsettled by this framing, Now agreed and took on to the new role. As she gained more and more exposure to the work of the Special Projects Division, her idolized image of Rasmus and Clarion Corps began to fray. Rasmus was callous. He treated their test subjects and his employees as expendable. She wondered if this callousness was what had led to her father's deterioration and if it wasn't so much a bug as a feature of Clarion Corps' operations. Amidst these revelations, Now put on a bold face and made a resolution to herself. She became increasingly confident that the corruption of Clarion Corps was Rasmus himself. She knew that to bring him down, she would need to compile an airtight case against him. She would need to become Rasmus's most trusted confidant and gain full exposure to his plans and projects. To aid her, she developed an assistant bot, which she named Vigil, that secretly documents every interaction and every bit of information she finds within the Special Projects Division. A feeling of despair nestled itself in Now's mind alongside this resolution. To take down Rasmus, she would need to become complicit in his actions, and in doing so, lose a part of herself. But like Rasmus has said, sometimes we must make sacrifices to benefit the world many times over. Okay, time to gush. I love how we now have a member of Clarion Corps who is a good person instead of someone who is evil. The teasers we got up to her release saw her out as this secretive threat who was working under Rasmus to find new test subjects. But when she was released, we got bait and switch with an undercover hero wanting to take down the power-hungry Scion and avenge those who fell under his totalitarianism. She is my new favorite female character in this game for how much of a badass she is. Is she my new favorite striker? No, that title still goes to Rasmus, but she comes very close. I also want to briefly mention a new detail we gained from the new event. Of 3 teams to choose from, one of them is gaining power through having Omega energy flowing through your body naturally. And with the image showing Era's silhouette, we finally know that magic can be gained through birth with characters like Era, Estelle, and maybe Finny. But now my question is, how does one naturally have Omega inside them? We know Omega is an energy source, but before that, was it some kind of element? What are the origins of Omega? I would love to know more about Omega sometime in the future. Anyways, back to now. I love how she is practically the opposite of Rasmus. She's experienced and kind-hearted, while Rasmus is vicious and callow. Both of them are quite intelligent, yet the intelligence comes from separate reasons. Now is quite easily meant to be the protagonist of the Clarion Corps story, and dare I say, I think she is the true protagonist of the lore so far. I love how far she's willing to go to maintain the facade of being a loyal servant to Rasmus. She's willing to play a game she sees as worthless and time-consuming just to convince Rasmus that she controls her.
And I don't even like playing this game.
I love how even though her personality and design on the surface makes her feel inconsiderate about others, her voice lines with characters like Kazan, Atlas, and Aimi show she's genuine and wants what's best for them.
What would your sister say if she saw you like this, Kazan? Do you ever question it all, Kazan? I know Rasmus mentioned it to you before, Atlas, but you could do amazing things at Clarion Corp. They've got their eyes on you, Aimi. Be careful.
She even compliments others and is willing to gain secondhand knowledge for her dictator or boss from Estelle to possibly build a better case against Rasmus.
Respectfully, Asher, you'd make a good enforcer for me. Oh, Estelle, I'd like to ask you some questions about Rasmus after the game. Whatever you did to him, Estelle, let's just say you're the boss.
Now is so methodical and productive in what she wants to do, which is to make Clarion Corps a better company by moving it into what it originally was. A company willing to fulfill the betterment of humanity through technological advancements. I am declaring it now. She is my waifu, and I will stand on this hill until the day I die. And that's it for my lore video and analysis on Now. I know I went on and gushed about her for quite a bit, but I couldn't help myself. I really love her that much. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to help with the algorithm and know when I make new videos. Also, I would like to know if you like Now as much as I do, or if you have different opinions. And until next time, keep on striking.